Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 180. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, for tonight's article, we're going to go back to 2016 and pull one out of the vault. Now, this article has to do with the book Filthy Rich that came out in 2016, and it was a book by James Patterson. And considering we talked about relentless pursuit for the last couple of weeks, I had a listener request that I do a review of Filthy Rich here on the show. So I'm going to do that in the next few days, but I figured this would be a great lead-in article to give some people an idea of what we'll be talking about within the pages of Filthy Rich. And if you have not purchased that book yet, or you have not read that book yet, you definitely should do that because it's a very important piece for the story. It tells the story of what was occurring in Palm Beach and elsewhere, and how this whole entire operation was being run. And this article will be a nice lead-in to that review. So, like I said, this article is from 2016. It was published in the Daily News. The author, it says confidential. And the headline was Pedophile Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein Told to Be Out of the Country Ahead of Book Release. Well, that's nice, huh? Get the heads up. Hey, Jeffrey, you might want to be out of the country for when this book releases because it's going to cause an earthquake in your world. Associates have advised convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein to head for the hills. A blockbuster book detailing the exploits of the infamous billionaire pedophile hit shelves on Monday, and sources close to the 63-year-old Brooklyn native have advised him to be unreachable and out of the country this weekend when the preliminary media blitz gets underway. Nice that he has such good friends, huh? These people are so sick and twisted and demented that even after Jeffrey Epstein was convicted the first time, whoever his source or whoever his friend is thought it would be prudent to give him this good advice, huh? Why didn't you just let him burn? Don't give him any advice. Let Jeffrey Epstein navigate the troubled waters on his own. He's had enough help from people on the outside. His friends and advisors have told him to lay low and say nothing, says a source close to the former Bear Stearns exec. He's in a situation that's indefensible. Yeah, no shit. And so are all of his co-conspirators like Ghislaine Maxwell, and whoever this source is, I'm sure, is probably another scumbag that was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein all the time. Maybe somebody who's close to Indike and Khan, because we know that those are, two less than reputable players navigating their ways through this case as well. So I wonder who this source was and who these advisors are. We know Jeffrey Epstein didn't have any friends. Come on. He had business associates. He had people he was blackmailing. He had people that he was using. But friends, debatable at best. Filthy Rich, a collaborative effort between best-selling author James Patterson and investigator John Connolly, is set to reopen old wounds for Epstein, who served 13 months in prison following a 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a teenage girl. Again, no such thing as a teenage girl being a prostitute, okay? If you're not over the age of consent, you can't be a prostitute. Why would they even use language like that in these articles? It's gross. At the very least, if you have to use that language, at least, add something like, hey, you know what? Even though that's what he was charged with, that's why it's so ridiculous, because there's an actual law like that around. And I know that law was changed in Florida, but still, there should have never been a law that allows somebody to get off if he's, having sex with minors by using the flimsy excuse, oh, well, she was a prostitute. Epstein, who frequently hosted wild parties allegedly attended by the likes of Donald Trump and Prince Andrew, has reportedly settled numerous similar cases out of court. It's funny that these articles that add Donald Trump leave out Bill Clinton, and the other way around. When articles mention Bill Clinton, they like to leave out Donald Trump. And you could usually tell where the political lean is coming from when they do that sort of thing. Thankfully, here on the Jeffrey Epstein Show, I'm like a pyromaniac with matches when it comes to these people. I'm ready to light them all on fire. Trump, Clinton, Dershowitz, Starr. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't have any remorse at this point for anybody that was involved in this case. After everything I've read, all the information I've gathered, speaking to the survivors, some of them, just an absolute gross miscarriage of justice. And everybody that was around has left a sour taste in my mouth. Everybody that was associating with Epstein, palling around with him, giving him cover, they're all scumbags the way I see it. And I really want, I want them all to answer hard questions. All right? All of them. Federal investigators claim in court filings that they have identified 40 young women who can be characterized as victims. We know it's a lot more than that. And if you listen to the Bradley Edwards book, it's a lot more than that. Hundreds upon hundreds, maybe even thousands of girls being victimized by Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal of sick bastards. We don't need any far-out conspiracy theories of, kids being rescued during the coronavirus or, any of these other crazy conspiracy theories you see on the internet. We have real victims here, real survivors, real girls who are being abused, girls that have come forward. There's no need to chase shadows, folks. If you're looking for a criminal organization who was involved in trafficking children, look no further. Right here in front of your face. So all of those people that are, talking about kids being rescued and QAnon and all this other batshit nonsense, look, you want to really get involved and you really want to take down a cabal and you want to get involved in making sure that sex trafficking survivors get a fair shake, come on over here to the Jeffrey Epstein case. We have a lot to share with you. Filthy Rich has Epstein running for the hills or one of his island homes, we're told. The tabloids here are going to do it over the weekend. Then the British tabloids will pick it up. It's going to be everywhere. You notice it's just the tabloids, though? Where's the New York Times? Oh, yeah, the Gray Lady was busy writing puff pieces. Where's the Washington Post? Oh, yeah, they're busy chasing Russian ghosts. Where is any reputable legacy media outlet doing dogged work on this case? There is none. So it falls to the likes of outlets like Daily Beast, which has stepped up to the plate and done a fantastic job. The New York Post has done a great job. The Daily News has done a great job. And the British tabloids have done a great job as well. And it's a sad state of affairs when we have a sex trafficking case that goes to the very highest points of power around the globe, and it can't get any traction with our BS salacious ass legacy media in America that loves stuff like this usually. Unless, of course, like Nancy Pelosi's daughter said, it includes some of their faves. The blockbuster book is also expected to further embarrass celebs who once partied with Epstein. Among the allegations that popped up when the suits first started piling up against Epstein is a claim by an aspiring model that Trump raped her in 1994 when she was 13. The bloviating billionaire has denied the charge, which was voluntarily dismissed in September but filed again earlier this week. A previous lawsuit by the same plaintiff was dismissed by a California federal court judge earlier this year. And, look, you see from the tone here that the author, the confidential author from this article, has a political bend, right? Wants to lay a hatchet job on Trump, and hey, that's cool. That's all right. If that's the way this guy wants to write the article, that's cool. More than welcome to write your article like that. But as readers and consumers of news, we have to take everything they say about people that they obviously have a vendetta against with a grain of salt, because we don't want to be part of the gaslighting campaign. We don't want to be part of the misinformation campaign, right? And it's the same when you have other outlets write about Bill Clinton. They'll write the same sort of, condescending sentence about Bill Clinton. And while I agree, both of these guys are, the not people with working moral compasses, shall we say. What I don't agree with is political hatchet jobs one way or the other, because the news can be reported without doing that. You can have your political leanings and you can have your political bend. We all do. But that doesn't have to seep over into your story and start picking away at the edges of your credibility, because what you're doing is automatically making half of the people who might support Trump or Bill Clinton automatically think you're a hack. And that isn't the way you're going to garner support for these survivors or make people interested in what you're reporting or writing. You have to be as, right as down the middle as possible, unbiased as possible. And a lot of these reporters who cover these kind of cases, they let their bias seep into the case, and it's no good, right? It's not a good look. In a case like this, it is certainly not a good look. You want to have your political lean and your political bias, that's fine. Like I said, we all do. But there's no place for it in this case. And I see it a lot on Twitter, a ton on Twitter. And before I started covering this case, I had zero desire to be on Twitter because of that exact reason. It's a swampy platform. People have a lot of big opinions, but they're real short on sources and facts to back those opinions up most of the time. And all you see is political hit jobs and tribalism and things devolving into an absolute shit show of water-carrying partisans who aren't interested in talking about the nuances of the topic. All they want to do is go forward with ad hominem attacks and try and, assault people verbally as opposed to actually having a conversation about what the topic really is. And you see that with these reporters a whole lot. And I know that was kind of a long-winded explanation of what I mean here about the article, but that's how I feel about this kind of stuff. So anytime I see people with political hit jobs or they're attempting hatchet jobs, I always take what they say with a grain of salt about the person they're talking about, because I just don't trust the legacy media to do things the right way. I don't trust them to not gaslight me. And I have to vet everything I read in the media, unfortunately, and I highly suggest everybody out there does it as well. If you're not doing it yet, I suggest you do it. It's no coincidence that this book is coming out just before the election, says our source. We're also told that Epstein is being advised to stay clear of his Upper East Side mansion so that he doesn't literally feel like a prisoner in his own home next week. Aw, poor baby, huh? He might feel like a prisoner in his own home in his bagillion-jillion-dollar mansion? Give me a break. These people are so twisted and sick. According to our insider, painters recently completed a patio mural that is an exact replica of the prison yard where Epstein served time. I don't want to ever forget where I was and how easy it would be to go back, Epstein told one sider who's seen the mural. Oh, please, yeah, you did a lot of hard time there, Mr. Epstein. You were on the main line running around with Barksdale's crew from Baltimore. We get it, all right? You were doing serious hard time. You putz, you dumbass. Sick bastard, pervert, pedophile, mother F. Neither Epstein nor his attorneys could be reached for comment. Well, of course they couldn't. Why would they want to comment? They had Jeffrey Epstein on the run. They didn't want him sticking around to answer questions about this book. You don't think Dershowitz was involved telling Epstein to hit the road? Of course he was. Dershowitz was always around his boy Jeffrey Epstein. So you see, folks, even back in 2016, after Jeffrey Epstein was already a convicted sex offender, and everybody knew he was a child molester, a pedophile at that point, he was still getting all sorts of love. He was still getting all sorts of treatment with his boys in upper society, and even getting the heads up by his friends and sources close to the situation that he should get out of Dodge because of the book that was coming out. So this gives you a little taste test of Filthy Rich and how important it was in the case and how much it shook Jeffrey Epstein. It's obviously so important that Epstein took to the hills during the release because he knew that it was going to shake the very foundations of his criminal enterprise. So we're going to review the actual book in a few days, by the end of the week, maybe Sunday-ish, and we'll go over some of the more important and juicy details that were found within the pages. Obviously, a lot of you have read the book as well, so this will be a refresher course for you, but it'll basically be like, a couple bullet points, and we'll discuss some of the more important points of the case and what I thought about the book in general, how I received it, if it was impactful for me, etc., etc. And we'll go through the list. All right, everybody. So I'll be back tomorrow with your usual morning update and our daily drop, etc., etc. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. You can reach me at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All right, folks, until then.